Hey everyone, Carbonite here, bringing you another fight replay. This time, an actual standard match between two of my teammates yet again. We've got Joshua on the left playing Youthbreak, and on the right we have Ryuki playing actually my Thegrea list. So the Thegrea list is somewhat updated to BT7, but I still need to do a lot more work. But getting into the fight itself, we actually have both players discarding a maple of each of their own. For the right deck, and then we see Joshua swing with the first grade 1 youth, actually hitting that over trigger, which is actually absolutely meaningless in this situation. And then with Ryuki riding into that grade 2, I believe the card he reveals is actually his OT, so we're going to choose not to actually call that and instead calling the Drilling Angel, actually putting the Maple into the soul to check top 3, maybe call one. Yeah, it's definitely OT on top right there. A little bit of a risky play because putting that Maple into the soul, you are going to be riding grade 3 next turn. So you need to find a way to get it out of the soul this turn. And it looks like he does have it. He's going to call out the Painkiller Angel, which is going to be very nice. You can just Soul Blast out the Maple, and it's back in the drop zone for you to use next turn. Looks like he's actually going to be calling that Knight, I always forget his name, as well as the Angel from BT6 that countercharges. Swinging Vanguard first, actually hitting a critical trigger, so giving that power to the Knight, and seeing that 2 damage, basically nothing. So these attacks are going to be swinging in for pretty big numbers, 28 and 18 respectively. So it looks like we're going to guard the bigger attack, I think, or did the power go to Painkiller? Either way, he's just going to take one of the attacks, starting his grade 2 turn already at 3. So riding into that grade 2 youth, soul blasting out the starter, checking top 3, and calling out a Schneisel, which is a very nice target. So you see he's going to be using that skill immediately, counterblasting one, and he is going to hit the Tempest off of that Schneisel. Honestly, this is just like one of the reasons Youthbreak is just such a good deck. There's like so much deck searching and deck thinning, even from just like your grade 2 turn. Which really just makes the deck as powerful as it really is. Alright, so it looks like we're going to be seeing a call of that grade 2. I think her name is like Verde or something. She gets 5k shield if your Vanguard is a youth. So she's going to swing with Vanguard, actually get a defensive, giving it to the Vanguard. So now neither of these rear guards is actually going to be able to hit. So we're just going to swing at the Knight, and looks like we're going to intercept and guard with a trigger to just keep it alive. Not too bad of a play. I mean, you are going into the Thegrea, and you do have the option to counterblast one and search out like at least one card to call from the top of the deck. But using that grade 2 skill, we're actually going to be hitting the Dark Thegrea, which is definitely one of the pieces you want to be seeing in when you're playing Thegrea. And looks like we're going to be calling out the Maple with the skill and trying to call out the Divine Sister, but it's actually not going to be live yet because you do need a grade 3 in the soul, and as of yet we do not have that requirement met. So it is just going to be another grade 2, which we already have 2 grade 2s, so it's not going to be effective at the moment. So it looks like we're using Thegrea's skills counterblast 1, check top 5, call 1 grade 2 or less from the top. Let's see. Oh, and he gets another Painkiller Angel, which is definitely a very nice card to see, and a card that really combos well with the Maple that we already see on board. So it looks like we're just going to go into battle phase, swing with the Vanguard. We're going to be guarding with a trigger for a 2 to pass. We get a nothing Dark Thegrea and a heal trigger, which because of that push last turn is actually not going to proc. Looks like we're giving the power to the Maple. We're going to be swinging 18k actually at the Schneisel, kind of trying to probably stem the bleeding. But we are going to be intercepting with the other grade 2, so it is going to be a 10k shield, so that's going to be enough. Swinging 28 at the Schneisel again. Looks like you're just going to take it, which is not bad, especially since you do have the ride up skill. When you ride the grade 3, you can actually counterblast 1 and get the Schneisel back, and then just use it again. We do see the Painkiller being procced just to Soul Blast and draw a card. And as I said, riding into the grade 3 is going to be Joshua's just going to be counterblasting 1 and searching back out that Schneisel that just got killed last turn, as well as calling the Maple out from the drop zone because he did ride into his grade 3. Looks like we're going to be Soul Blasting for the 10k Angel from BT7 to call itself out. I believe it was discarded for Ride Deck, and it is technically still Ride Phase because all these effects are happening all at the same time. So using that Youthbreak skill, checking the top 3, it looks like we're going to be getting the Drive Setter to 1 off the top, which is just such a good card, honestly. It's 10k booster, and it gives you a drive check on that second swing. So it looks like we're just going to get ahead into battle, go for the Vanguard swing first, get a critical trigger, check 2, nothing, no defensive. So we're already at 4 from the opponent's first grade 3 turn. And going to be going into that Tempest, checking the top 2 cards. They are going to be 2 blanks, a grade 3 and a grade 0, which are not grades that Thegrea ever really calls to the board, but it is still just like an insane plus for just Counterblast 1. Just like basically draw 2 cards. That's just really insane. Not to mention the front row gets another plus 5k. And then, so, yeah. And looks like the Schneisel is going to be swinging. We're actually going to have to drop 3 cards just to guard that. And Youthbreak swinging, 1 drive check, drive checking another Tempest. That Maple is going to be swinging in for a decently big number, I believe 25, and it looks like we're just going to call OT to guard it. Rewriting into the Dark Thegrea, which, as the Thegrea does, counts as a Persona Ride. So calling out that new grade 3 from BT7, if you did Persona Ride this turn, I believe it gets 5k and the Battle Door effect. Almost forgetting to color Maple here. Whoops. But there it is, yeah. So for this grade 3 card, I was definitely testing it a little bit for the build. At the moment, I don't really think it's worth it, mostly because it's just like a grade 3, and Thegrea really does not like grade 3s in the deck. You can't retire them for the Dark Thegrea, and you can't even call them off of the Light Thegrea. So honestly, grade 3s are kind of a detriment. Anyways, getting back into the game, we're going to be swinging with that Dark Thegrea. Looks like we're just going to no guard it, and using the skill to counterblast 1 and discard 1 card, since we did ride over the light one, restand the Vanguard and give it drive -1. So unfortunately we didn't hit anything with that last drive check, so we're just going to be swinging for another 23, and looks like we're going to be guarding for 28, 38, which is going to be a OT to pass, but we've already seen it, so that's going to be a no pass. But we do actually hit the front trigger, which is pretty nice, but at the same time, Joshua's still only at 4. So even though these attacks are swinging for pretty big numbers, it doesn't really mean that much, because he can just like guard one of them and just like take the other one. And with that massive hand in his it's just really is not going to be a problem at all, as we saw him just dropping 2 triggers to block the Maple and then just taking the Battle Door swing. Oh, and looks like we're starting off with a Persona Ride, which is definitely not what you want to be seeing, especially if you're already at 5. It's kind of looking like this could be the end of the game, especially calling back out that Maple, just free advantage and free attacker, and using the Youthbreak skill to discard a card, check top 3, and looks like he gets another copy of that 10k Angel. And looks like our other attacker is just going to be a Verde. Not a great attacker, but you are still under Persona Ride, so that is going to be hitting for 30k, which is a pretty big number. So it looks like Youth is going to swing for 23. We're going to 1 to pass it and see 2 blanks. Revolt dressing into that Tempest using the skill. Giving front row 5k, checking top 2 triggers, which definitely nice to see, but at the same time, it's just, again, that's just so much free advantage and so much free shield value. Gonna be swinging with the Vanguard for, I believe that's 28, just gonna guard it for 33 because it doesn't have any guard drive checks. Swing with the Maple, this is gonna be 25, 35, I believe, yes, 35. And it looks like we don't have enough in hand to guard it, so we're just going to take it, hope for the heal, but it does not pay off. Anyways, that's going to be it for the match. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.